if you're like me, you're constantly trying to keep things organized, right? So not easy to do. And when I say things organized, you're trying to keep your family organized. You're trying to keep your family's artifacts organized, your house organized, your business organized, your personal business papers and matters organized, everything organized, right? Because things are coming at us so fast, so quickly, more than ever. The stimuli is just off the charts crazy. And we need to be able to just breathe and find space. And I think you find space when things are in their place and organized, right? Does that sound a little type A? Maybe. But I'm going to tell you this. I have a kindred spirit, and her name is Ashley Hines. Ashley is a dear friend of mine. She has blessed me with her friendship for many years now. And I want to share this conversation with you. She is pivoting in the process, I should say, because she is definitely a corporate executive doing her thing in corporation right now. But she's also starting to open the door to her entrepreneurial self and her passion. And I'm so excited to share that with you. In this talk, you're going to hear a little bit about mentoring and mentorship. You're going to hear a lot about friendship. You're going to hear a lot about pivoting and not always having to do a hard pivot, how appropriate and how caring a soft pivot can be for us as we look to lean into things, businesses, books, anything that you want to do, but you know that you still want to do your 9 to 5 as well because you're passionate about that too. Well, I love Ashley's story because she's found a way to merge these two worlds. So cool. So here she is, Ashley Hines.
Hi, Ashley.
Hello, Chantra.
Oh, my girl. It is so good to see you always.
You too. You look cozy. You look super cozy.
I feel cozy. I'm in New Orleans right now. For everybody listening, where's Waldo in the world, right? For the first time, I'm doing this taping on location, off location, I guess you could say. I'm in New Orleans, my hometown. It's Mardi Gras time. So, just even going out to the store feels like a party.
Oh, I bet. New Orleans is live.
It's live, girl. I'm here in live season. So it is Mardi Gras Carnival 2022. And and that's what's going on in the world. Ashley, where are you in the world then? You're in the Midwest, right?
I am in cold, snowy Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I think I saw there was a big storm earlier.
There was. The kiddos were out and everything. It was an ice storm. Oh. Never experienced that. But we're out of ice and now we've transitioned to snow. So I guess I should be grateful.
You're on the up,
It could be worse, yes.
In another month, you might even get an Indian summer because that actually happens in Wisconsin. Yeah,
it does. We have very creative weather here.
That's a good way to say it, creative weather. And I actually think it's a good place to start because we also, I'm going to say we, because I feel like I'm privileged to have two homes, right? I have New Orleans, Louisiana, and I feel like I have Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which when you have two babies in a place and bring a 1-year-old, you get to claim it, right? And you're there for 15 years, right? You get to claim it. But it's also got a lot of creative people, is my point, right? A lot of creative people, and I count you as one of them. You and I met a long time ago. I was just actually, when I was preparing for this, I was trying to figure out how long ago it was that we met. And I struggled a little bit on exactly the time, but I figured Sam, my youngest, who is now 14, he was in the range of 2 to 3 because it was around the time that my family started fellowship in a Christian faith fellowship church. It was around that time. So I figured it must be at least 10 years, maybe?
Yeah, it's so funny. We are so aligned because I did the same thing. I was like, when did I? So I looked back in my phone. So I know I knew you before the intention of mentorship and, before that. But my first Chantra notes, because I always took notes after we met, was June of 2016. So that was when we really started to intentionally nurture our relationship. And that timing made so much sense for me when I looked back because I started my first manager position that year. Deuce was a year. It was like a lot changing And
Yeah.
it all clicked for me why our
Wow.
relationship was so vital. And
So
I was like,
let's
oh,
tell
I
them
get
about
it.
that. Like I even remember. So yes, so we were introduction was made, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we knew similar people, same people. Introduction was made in 2016. Ashley honored me by asking me if I would be a mentor to her. And of course, I gave a yes. And I believe one of the things that I may have shared with you at that time was I believe that I'm blessed in the process of mentoring as well. Inevitably, I leave every conversation. You feel like you get something, but I feel like I get something too. You know, just a blessing. And I think we literally met in a mentorship, which is very interesting, right? Because that mentorship became a friendship. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's always so natural for people. Tell me, like, let's take it back. What did it feel like
Yeah.
to, because you actually boldly asked me,
I
right?
boldly asked because I knew with great intention. One, like I said, I was making a career change, first of all, like from being an individual contributor to now being responsible for building something, for managing people, not just, projects. And I knew I needed people who had done that and who had expertise and wisdom. And you were especially attractive for me too, because we literally align in almost every other area, being a wife, a mom, a woman of faith, like all these things that I knew I wouldn't have to explain to you.
Yes.
And so I'm like, she's my person. I already
We're
know.
too busy to
Let
explain.
me, right? I'm like, and I wanted to respect your time. So that's why for me, it was being very, upfront and direct
Yeah.
about the relationship I wanted to have with you. I remember I would plan out months. I would literally send you calendar
Oh,
invites for quarterlies. I would save up my questions because I just so wanted to honor your time and attention. So it was with great intention for me. It was very deliberate, and I knew you could
and
give
you
me
were easy.
perspective.
I have
Was
to tell you. Oh my
I?
God, Ashley, seriously, because that ask can be a little intimidating, right? Because just like
Mhm.
you said, you've got all the things going on. And for all those people that are out there that are listening, that are at that mid-level point in their career and higher, maybe even, or not even at that level yet, when you look and seek mentorship, in particular when it's somebody that you're meeting for the first time, I just have to give Ashley so much credit because you came so prepared that I was almost thinking to myself, she does not need mentorship. In fact, she is the mentor, right? And we're going to talk about how your whole essence and style bleeds into not only who you are, but like some of the cool things that you're doing now, right? You were so organized, Ashley. I remember you. Do you remember you like had a journal? You had even
Oh yeah.
done research. Okay, now it's all coming back. You had done the research on exercises. You had details on some of your prior reviews with
Mhm.
managers. Like I was for real blown away.
Well, I was in a leadership program. So when I met you, I was also
Yes,
in several leadership programs, and
yes.
you helped me to make sure that wasn't just a passive experience. And so I think your guidance helped me to really take advantage of those opportunities that I was being invested in, right? I was a high potential leader, and you helped me to navigate that. You helped me to get the language to know how to advocate for myself, to position the things
Girl,
that I
yes.
wanted to do. It was so vital. But yes, I came and I did my research. I have to
Yeah.
do, and I also knew this. You were so busy. This was the time you were in a major corporate leadership position. I'm like, I'm not gonna take advantage of her time. This is a gift. This is a sacrifice. And so I wanted to capitalize and optimize on that time you were gifting me. So
You're
yeah.
special. Seriously, like, I mean, like you said, sometimes, when I have asked for mentorship, even being a mentor, sometimes when those arrangements, I'm going to say, because they start off arranged, when
Mhm.
those arrangements start, it's a little bit of a journey to figure out, what the context is going to continue to be. And I think you nailed it, right? Because you had done your homework and because you knew the fit. I think you, before we even sat down, I think you probably knew where my values were, right? Like in
It was
all
very
my
clear.
busyness, I always wanted people to know that my priorities, faith and family, and then I called it focus, number 3, right? Focus on whatever that thing was that was before me as, you know, the leadership opportunity that I might have. So good. So cool. All right. So now we got to take that to the next level then and talk about that organization in the sense of how you have come to appreciate that as your essence. And I'm actually going to take you to December of 2020. We were on the phone.
We were. We were.
We were on the phone doing what we do, having a check-in call. And I remember I was like completely on a high because I had listened to a women's conference. I don't know how people lived in 2020, but I feel like I became a sponge for every conference, virtual conference that I could, you know, find that spoke to me. I spent my time pouring so much in. And I just come off a conference and this woman impressed me with the board of directors.
The board, yep, the board of directors. I
And
remember it vividly.
You were my next call. Like you and I talked right after that. And I must have sounded like a complete giddy kid, right? Because I was like, oh my God, Ashley, I gotta even share this with you before I've even really processed it. Do you remember that?
I absolutely remember it. I remember where I was in my house when we spoke. So yes, and that's what I mean about our relationship, which of course has evolved over the years. And to your point, is a beautiful friendship. And I still consider you a mentor because there are definitely very keen things that I come to you about. But I so needed that. So during that time, and I can be very transparent, this was at the fall, kind of winter of the pandemic. I had just kind of had it, right? You know, everybody had gone through their various things with the pandemic, but I got to a point where I was like, I need to change something. Like I can't go into 2021 like this. And I had shared some of that with you. And there were a few things you imparted. Absolutely the boardroom, which I keep on my calendar every day to have my board meeting before I step foot out of my bed, which sometimes Miss Cora doesn't allow me a very long board meeting, but that's my 2-year-old, everyone. But it setting your day with that is just a beautiful way to process your day, and having God as your chairman, that has just been a beautiful
blow your mind.
It blows your mind. It blows your mind. And you think about your day and the people that you have in your life and all the different walks here very differently when you conceive of it, because that's a structure we all can, for those of us who have been in corporate and all that, we can associate with that structure, right? And so that feels good. That feels, usable. But there was something else you said to me, and I wanted to just go back to like October of that year, because I decided to take a leave. I decided to take a family leave. It made sense for me. I quite frankly did not want to lose my mind, right? I said, hey, it's either, that's the point I had gotten to. I said, either I walk away or I'm going to lose myself. And so I'm so grateful I took that time off and I talked to you, and there was something you imparted on me around abundance. Now I had heard that theory before, but I'd never heard it how you shared it with me. And I needed that because I was functioning out of the scarcity, like no question, to the point where I was functioning out of it for how I took care of myself. Like, do I even have enough time to give to myself? There were so many things that framework helped me with and continues to. It was the foundation for my business, because that's why I even said, you know what, it was a few people, you, my sister, and my husband. Y'all were the folks that got me to just say, do it. And that abundance mindset of there is more than enough out there for you. God has already figured it out before you decided to finally listen. All those things. So I could talk forever about that. And ProvenNotPerfect helped me a lot too, because I have perfectionist issues and I'm recovering from them every day. But I just said, do it. And so I did. I pressed send. It was really pressing send on my Instagram page was how I launched my business. That was the work. But
so tell us about abundance. So let's double click on that, because somebody's going to hear this and they're going to say, well, what resonated to you about abundance, right? And they might even misunderstand, like, you definitely don't, you are a minimalist, right? Mindset and so you don't mean abundance and getting a whole bunch of stuff,
nope,
right? So I want to double click on that so that people really understand, like when you talk about abundance and as a mindset, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, you're right. It is not material for me. It is absolutely the immaterial things, the things that the intangibles. It is joy and peace and happiness and purity and all the things that we desire to be full and whole, that there's more than enough of that out there. And of course, you could look at material as far as financial as well. And I think some of that can tie to our mental health and our wellness and how we can take care of ourselves. But it was, you don't have to live in this space of there's this cap, right?
Yes.
Even with time, like I started to look at my time differently. And just, it helped me to craft boundaries that I didn't have, that were never existent. And you and I have talked about time management over the years, and you've been tremendous, but that framework just helped me. Like that was the missing piece for me, to just, you own your time, you create these spaces for yourself in which you can thrive and show up,
In particular, when you have all these hats that we have, right? When you have these hats, I think, continuing to be clear on what is priority and letting go of what is not it can feel like a selfish act, especially when you are a community worker, when you are a friend to many. The asks come, the requests come, the joinings come, all the things, right? But how do you make sure that you have your own process check to know that there's something in there to get, right? Like if that cup is not full, it is not with something, then you can join everything. You can be a part of everything, but you might not be the member that you're proud of, right?
You have nothing to give. You have nothing to give. I could literally, Chantra, you've poured so much into me, so I just feel so many things naturally coming out. You also helped me with framing that, which was managing my yeses. It wasn't just saying no to, I can't do that, I can't do that. It was, how do I take ownership and manage my yeses? And that, I mean, I hear it all the time. I hear it every day when I'm faced to making those decisions of where I spend my time. And I remember there was a season of your life where you weren't able to do all the boards and things, and you were just so transparent with me about what that season looked like. And I just think that awareness is so important when you have all those hats, to be mindful about how you want to show up in each of those, and knowing that it can ebb and flow. There may be seasons where you have to show up in one hat more, differently, and that's okay.
Look, I was in the club, not in the club. Like, there's
right.
Member number 29, where is she? Is she ever here? She's here, y'all, in body, but mentally, she's got so much going on. I think it was actually in 2016 where I was in my final days of my Kellogg Executive MBA. And I was also privileged enough to be a leader divesting a $6 billion business unit for Johnson Control. My kids, I had one that was rising into seniorisms. They're every 4 years. So every season after that, it was all happening, right? And I just remember just at one point, literally, I think I shared with you, feeling like I was sipping air, just literally sip, right? Which that is no way to be. No way to be.
No, it's not. But when I look back at that time and when I launched my business and why I was so confident in that yes, it was because of that hardship that I experienced, right? Like I had gotten to that point where I was like, I really need a yes for me, right? Like, so it wasn't just managing the no's, because to be quite honest, that year was the lightest responsibility year of my life. As far as I wasn't on any boards, I had paused some of my memberships. So I knew it wasn't just about the no piece either. It was like, I need a yes for me. And so starting my business was a huge yes for me and has continued to be a yes
So
for me.
we have to talk about that, all right? Because seriously, we have teased the people. All right, so back in that December time frame, when probably me, alongside your sister and
Yeah,
your wonderful husband, pushing you to not give up on something that was calling you, even if you felt like there were other responsibilities that you needed to do with, right? Because it was neat to see you are a professional in diversity, equity, inclusion. You're passionate about it. You love it. You're great at it. However, there was something else calling you. Tell the people about the tailored life.
Yeah, the tailored life. So you alluded to it. I've always been an organized person. I just can't deny it that it's in my blood. My parents will tell you I was organizing my Barbies. Okay, that was me. So it's always been a part of me. But I'll tell you this: when life became fuller, so when I got married and had children and was doing the corporate business thing and the volunteer, it was just a lot. And it's like, how do I manage this all in a way that allows me to show up fully? And I just had to manage our lives, what I could control of our lives. So that meant physical space, that meant our time, right? And so I, with just a lot of determination, organized our home from top to bottom. Really, my husband would say from bottom to top, because I started in the basement. And that became so inspiring for others because I was sharing it on my Instagram. And I'll be honest, when I started The Tailored Life, which is a professional organizing business, I thought it would just be every now and then. I thought I would help a few friends and family. But because I was sharing it, it grew and grew and grew, and it continues to grow. But sometimes it just takes that one yes, which was, I didn't know what I was doing. So the yes was not to having a full business plan and all this. It was just, I really like organizing, right? It fills me up. It is therapeutic for me, which it is. Some people can't believe that, but I love seeing a mess and thinking about how it can taking chaos into peace and serene. I love it.
It's a gift.
And that's how I know, because people look at it and they're like, how do you do that? Like you're okay going into these rooms that are piled with things. And I am. It brings me peace to do that, have that process.
Actually, that's almost like exactly mirror to me and how I think about my corporate values. I'm literally the one that plops in when it's a storm, and I see the roadmap to cleaning it up. Yes. I never even thought about that. But what you just said, wow, like we see a pile in the closet and you see order.
Already, I see it. And I think I love the process too. What it has taught me, really digging into this work and being honest and reflective of my own process, is the mental health implications for, it is enlightening how much our physical space impacts our mental, and then how much, when we look at our physical space, it tells us about ourselves mentally and where we are. And so I love partnering with my clients to explore that, the emotionality of decluttering, ridding ourselves of again, saying yes. It's not just, I tell my clients, it's not just saying no to things. It's saying yes to what you want in your space and what serves you. That is what it is. It's not just, I'm getting rid of this, because a lot of clients struggle with that concept. Just saying, I know exactly what's in my space. I know it should be here. I know I love it and need it and want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So is there work that you have clients do beforehand to come to grips with that? Before you even go in and say that closet, what we're going to do you have them sit in some work and really start to assess, first of all, why is it looking like this? And secondly, why do I want to change it now?
Yeah, sometimes. So I'll be honest with you. Some of my clients are ready to go and they just need someone who gives them permission and who can partner and hold them accountable, right? But there are others who they can be transparent with me that, hey, this may take me a little bit longer. I don't. And I ask my clients for that. And I honor that they would trust me with that, because I have clients who are experiencing loss and grief, and some of their items are connected to that. Yeah. And I have clients who have long histories of maybe economic differences than where they are now. And so they have a different connection with things, right? So it is a case by case process, but I'll tell you, I have a client right now who we're reading a book together called The Afro Minimalist. And this is a beautiful book.
Afro Minimalist? I want to make sure we all get that. Okay.
So Kristen Pratt is this amazing lawyer by trade, has had really high level government roles, but it has had all of these really transformative experiences that led her to being a minimalist.
Wow.
She nearly hit rock bottom with things and had to become a minimalist in many ways because of the physical space that she was living in, but leaned into what that taught her. And when she looked in the industry, she's like, oh, it's all white. Minimalism is all white, right? Like it's this whole, and so she went
literally. Almost literally.
The walls, right? And the people.
Walls, yes. Like that's become synonymous.
She's like, this doesn't work.
Hit the scene and
until Kanye, right? So she's like, this doesn't work for me. I still want my beautiful cloths that honor my culture. And I still want color and feel in a space. And it's not about having 27 pieces of clothing. It is around how we frame what gets to live in our home. How, and so she has done a beautiful job. I'm more than halfway through the book, and I highly recommend it because it talks about, in particular for people of African American lineage, our history with things. We have a deep, deep rooted history with materials and commodity, because at one point we were commodities. Yeah. And so she just unpacks a lot of how deep our connection as a culture and the group is with our material things. So yeah, I'm going
beautiful.
Yeah, but I do want to do more of what you're speaking to, which is really meeting. I continue to try to meet clients where they are, but you're right. Sometimes it may take some different resources to make sure they're in the headspace, right? Yeah. But I move as fast as my clients want to move. So I've had clients that initiate with me and say, it's not a good time for me right now, right? Yeah. And that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think also too, as you think about where you are really helping people to unpack and envision the life that they see themselves having, man, there is something really amazing about that, right? I mean, but I'm also going to point out there's a responsibility that's huge that you have. Like, honestly, I think of both your business and your job, right? Like, everything is...
it's heavy. I don't take it lightly.
Humanitarian responsibilities, right? Like, I'm not talking, a lot of times when we say responsibility, people think of, I would call it the corporate superficial stuff, right? No, I'm talking about the job to be done is deeply personal and humanitarian. What do you use as your outlet to pour into yourself, to give this to others? And then once you've given it, now I'm going to be your mentor. What do you do to pour it back in your own cup?
Yeah, thank you for that. One, you're right. I don't take either of my roles or any of my hats lightly. And I'm honored that my clients would trust me, right? And that everyone I work with. As far as what I do, though, one, I have an immense love for people. I truly, truly, deeply love people and believe everyone on this earth has great intention and purpose and reason for being here. So it's sacred for me, right? Like, so when I'm approaching these relationships, it's not, I already told you, I have a job. I'm paid well. So it is not about the money for me, right? Yeah. It is an honor. But as far as how I kind of make sure that I am getting in that space, I do pray. I absolutely pray before I go in with any client and ask God to use me. I do not think it's about me. I mean, I have things come out of me all the time where I'm like, that was not me. Thank you, God, for letting me continue to push myself over, because I don't know what I'm going to get into sometimes when I meet with a client. I've had people break out in tears, right? Because we're going through every article in your space. That's my process. I don't brush over anything. Everything gets touched. And so that means there's things that are touched you haven't seen in years that may remind you of someone, all of that. And I hold that space. As far as how I continue to pour into myself, and this was a pandemic thing too. Some of it is the frilly kind of getting manicure, pedicure, having time. I definitely do that.
Yeah,
Um,
good.
but I have a lot of intentional reflection time, and I'm not a journaler. Like I don't do journaling. I just haven't been able to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
But I sit with myself a lot and download.
Ooh,
Often at night when the house is quiet, I reflect on my day. I mean, I think that's a part of the work I do in D&I as well, just constant self-awareness to check in with myself. Things that maybe didn't go well that day. How did I show up in that space? What does that mean? It always means more about me, right? Than the
yes,
inter
yes,
it's self-work.
yes,
So yeah, that's continuing to work on myself. And you know this about me. I love productivity,
yes,
right? Rest is not attractive to me. I have to make myself
yes.
rest. But I read, that slows me down. So
Those are all good
yeah.
things to slow yourself down. Okay, so there are people that are listening to this who are in a 9 to 5 gig, which is never really 9 to 5. We know that. And they have a business that's in their heart. And it's getting louder and louder and louder as they sit here and listen to you. What advice would you give someone who has a 9 to 5, has a full-time gig that they love, but they also have something that's calling them that's more entrepreneurial, and they feel like they have to choose between the two, right?
Yeah.
First of all, how would you tell them, do they have to choose between the two? And if they don't, how would you give them guidance to like start the steps?
Absolutely. You do not have to choose between the two. And funny thing is, a lot of people try to make me choose early on. You should quit your job, and I was actually in transition to a new role as well. And I'm like, nope, I really still want to do my
I
job.
want my
And I
job.
had to get that certainty in that because it's not just about the money for me either. I mean, for some entrepreneurs, it's, hey, I want to keep this consistency of salary and expect, right? Like that
And that's a
means a
real
lot
thing.
too. That's a very
Yeah,
real thing. And
yeah.
nobody should make you have to
Nope,
compromise that
that's right on.
because you'll have more freedom to do your, right, to build your
Yes.
business. So no, you do not have to release it. And I'll tell you this, and this is something that has been proven to me over the last year and a half. If you are truly moving on what God is sharing and what you hear loudly, that congruency will become so much more clear for you. I did not think professional organizing and diversity, equity, inclusion had anything to do with each other. It felt like two different worlds. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to tell you in the last year, I have used the skills, connections, resources, and they have woven through each other so beautifully. And I couldn't have even expected it, right? So I've joined several professional organizing groups. You know me, I have to get with the network and the
Yes,
professional
yes.
development, no matter
She is
where
a
I am.
queen of networking in a
That's
beautiful
just
way.
me. That is me. But then within those spaces, now we have white organizers who want to ally with Black organizers. And so guess whose D&I diversity, equity, inclusion
Wow.
leadership was needed to help to move forward an allyship effort. And so it's just been a beautiful way. And if you just say that first yes, I promise you, all those things will unfold. And the thing is about starting a business too, you don't have to move faster than you want to. You get to decide the pace. You're the boss. You make all the
Yeah.
decisions. So if you're still working a 9 to 5 like me, that is very full, I really work my business on the weekends. And that's what works for me. It has been a great pace. I'm able to build all of my systems in the background and, figure things out the way that feels good for me and not have that pressure. Because I'll be honest with you, if I had the pressure to also make my ideal salary as I don't think it would have been the same journey. I've enjoyed every step of building my business because I don't have the anxiety of I gotta eat. I get to just be and
Yes.
grow and challenge myself and have fun. Quite frankly, it's fun for me.
See, and
So
I'm going to say that to me is where the pen goes, right? Because I'm always putting pins on stuff, right? That to me is where the pen goes. When you are in order and living in your passion, there is a peace about it all, right? Like it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Even if you got to do it at an off peak time, even if you have to do it around something, there's joy that comes from it and it fits. And man, I mean, I think that, kudos to you. You're listening to your inner spirit that's, telling you, right? Pulling you peacefully. It's when we don't listen. Because can you imagine? You just told us that the two came together and they're so congruent, right? And how one is begetting more in both spaces. If you would have been pushed to listen to others, first of all, the relationship is between you and one, right? It's you and us, right? So if you would have listened to others who would have said, quit your job or think about it black or white, pick one, right? Man, can you imagine how unfulfilled you might have been because you would have had a side of the puzzle that wasn't happening?
Yeah,
wow.
I agree. And we have to own and be comfortable with the fact we like different things. Like we're multifaceted, diverse people within our, it's okay. You don't have to pick a passion. Like you can literally move in all those spaces. And I think I had to gain confidence in that because I also bought into that for a little bit of time. Like, oh, do I need to quit my job? But I also think the pandemic has presented us with a way that our work life, we have such a harmony that many of us, not everyone, because I won't paint that picture. I will say that many of us have been offered an opportunity to work from home or to have hybrid. And that has presented, I don't know if I could have built my business the same way, right? Yeah. Because it has made it where I can go away on a Saturday and feel cool because I'm with my kids a lot more. Yes. I'm not in the rigmarole of going to events at night of like, none of that is a part of my life right now. Yes. So, and I don't know if it has to be. I think I can choose, look, right?
That's what I'm about to say. I just don't even know that I'm excited to layer all of that back
in. I'm not going back to that. No way. I would know with certainty I didn't want to go back to that because I love this. I love this. And there's no way I'm gonna go back to that. So
no. All right, sister. So I wrote a book called Proven Not Perfect, and there are some truths that I live by. And I want to know, when I say truth, inspiration, what do you think? How do you define inspiration for Ashley?
Yeah. First is creativity. And then it's being pulled to that. So something that's kind of that you're gravitating to, that is creative, that is also that challenges you in a healthy way. Because I think inspiration has to kind of have a bit of foreignness to it as well. Like, I'm intrigued, right? So that's kind of what comes up for me is creative pulling and healthy challenge around inspiration.
I love that. Wow, I'm gonna have to think about that one. Courage. What do you think?
Courage is a big one. Courage is doing things even when you're scared. Like basically like just doing it, not knowing, but still having certainty at the same time, right? Like, I don't know what's on the other side of that, but I trust that it's going to be okay. And so much of my courage is because of my faith. I just know God is always caring for me, even in the spaces that seem scary and uncertain. Yeah, that's what comes up for me.
And what about optimism?
Oh, optimism. This is my default. I just believe that that's just me. You are innocent until proven guilty. That is just the glass is full. Optimism for me is really the only way to live because it's hope. It's peace. I can't live with hopelessness. I can't. It's energetic. It is fuel to navigate life's challenges. So yeah, that's optimism for me.
Well, Ashley Hines, the tailored life. I'm so proud of you. I'm hugging you, and like I said, I'm just so proud. I'm so proud of you. You have you've touched so many lives already. I know that there's so many more lives that you're going to touch, and I'm going to continue to be one of them. And I'm looking forward to seeing you keep doing what you do. Inspiration, courage, and optimism absolutely is what you live, what you demonstrated, how it takes a mama of two and a wife who is also a very important career-driven woman to not only have the desire and pull to move into this space of creativity, but to actually do it, right? So that's fearless girl. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.